It was getting more difficult to wake up early every morning. Can you really blame me for sleeping until 7:30 with the sound of rain at Roundtop Shelter? I started the ascent up Laraway Mountain, and turns out it goes by some private land, a maple tree filled forest with several active sap collection sites to make maple syrup. There were also a few neat waterfalls next to the trail. It was still too early and the clouds hadn't quite cleared yet to see much at Laraway Lookout. This is the first day I didn't really feel like my feet recovered from being wet and muddy from the previous day. My socks and shoes had been swamped and won't dry. My shoes have lost most all its tread and developing holes on both sides. My gear and I are hanging on by a thread but determined to finish the trail. This is not great, honestly. My feet are so torn up. Both of my heels, the skin is just like torn off. My big toes, the inside of my heel too. My shoes are wearing off. Just wherever my shoes are wearing off or getting a hole, there's so much friction and my feet are just getting destroyed. And they've been soaked for 2 days straight just because the trail is wet, and I get wet even if it's not raining. Everything else is wet and there's mud. Your shoes just get soaked with your socks, so it's just like my pruned feet are just, the skin is just getting torn off them and they hurt so bad. Every single step is excruciating. That being said, I have about 6.7 miles till Spruce Ledge Shelter, I think it's called, and have to climb Butternut Mountain here, which is like 1,000 feet and 1.2 miles. So the friction's not as bad going uphill, but it still hurts so bad. Just wish me luck. I had lunch at Corliss camp and finished the climb up Butternut Mountain. I saw a cool looking millipede and one of the biggest slugs I've ever seen. My feet are completely torn up and I'm all out of KT tape and Leuco tape. It was just one foot in front of the other at this point, and it hurt more to take breaks, having to restart, than it did to just keep on trucking. In hindsight, this was the most difficult day mentally and physically. Luckily, it was a Saturday and Kelly was off for a couple hours to be able to have a 15-minute conversation. Took my mind off my feet for the last mile down to Spruce Ledge camp. It started pouring soon after arrival, and I had some cold couscous for dinner before going to sleep. Rained all evening, night, and morning. I was getting a bit lazy sleeping in, but still on track to finish as planned, so I felt like not rushing would be best. And on the bright side, I was back on track getting a normal amount of sleep. I was getting used to the shelter life. Alright, good morning. What is today? The 23rd, day 18. Hopefully 2 more full days of hiking and then just like a mile or 2 on the last day. It's supposed to rain all day today, according to the lady who was at the shelter with me here last night. She said it was going to rain all day. It's not too heavy right now, and there's always a lot of trees and canopy to catch a lot of the rain, but still it's going to soak the whole entire trail. The trail's just going to be a creek basically, so we'll see how this goes. My feet are in, as I've said probably 100 times now, are in not good shape at all, and even just putting on my wet socks and shoes, they're just stinging, and we'll see how this goes. But just gotta push through. A few days left and then I'll be at the terminus, and that's what's keeping me going. Deja vu, I put on wet socks and shoes and packed my pack a tad more carefully with rain all day in the forecast. I put on my pack cover and raincoat and set out to climb Mount Belvedere. At least there would be so much water available so I didn't have to carry much at all. 30 miles to the finish line. This is ridiculous, man. Can't just get one normal day of hiking on this trail. This is just insane. Just in this little cave right now. Just taking a little break. Got some cover. Started to rain pretty hard there for a second. I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm not... Screw a snack break. Don't need lunch. Don't need to fill up water. I'm just gonna keep walking until I get to the next shelter. And oh man, it's exasperating, honestly. I've heard that it takes up to 3 weeks to truly get your trail legs on a long through hike. It was day 19 and climbing Mount Belvedere was the first time I felt like I had mine. I did not feel like my legs were getting tired and never really out of breath. The weather was mild and the bugs were minimal. I ran into a few day hikers making the summit as well. We were up in the clouds, but definitely another cool fire tower to check out. The trail is literally just a creek. From here on out, the trail would be underwater. My water source at any moment could be just the stream next to the trail or the little runoff that was the trail. Early summer is mud season for the long trail, and it's kind of frowned upon to hike on it during this time because it gets heavily damaged. I felt like hiking the last 40 miles of the long trail underwater wasn't great for it, but in my mind it had to be done. I was telling people I can't fail another through-hike attempt. The ridge from Belvedere continues up, down, and across to Haystack Mountain. I stopped for lunch at Tillotsin camp and continued on to find camp at Hazens Notch. It was another day, only 13.7 miles, but more than 4,500 feet elevation gain and loss. I met a couple gals also camping at Hazens Notch doing a section hike going southbound. We chatted a while about what's to come for both of us north and south. The past few hikers have congratulated me on my through hike, and I'm grateful, but I know I still have 2 more days out on trail to close it out.